Welcome to the One Up Podcast. I am your host, El Caballo, a.k.a. Tony, here with some of my nearest and dearest. I got Doe in the building. Got my Deo in the building.
What's going on, man?
I got Pucho in the building.
Depressed. Knicks aren't first seed anymore.
Super sad about that.
Did you guys expect that to last?
Yes.
Get the fuck out of here.
Though he's delusional.
I am.
But I'm still sad about it, even though I didn't expect it, it still bums me out.
I mean, I was shocked that you guys even hit that seed, to be honest.
Same.
That was a shock.
We came out the game bussing, all right? And just ready to fight like a Harlem nigga.
I mean, it's still early in the season, so like a Harlem nigga.
Yeah.
That's weird. But yeah, how was y'all weekends? Pooch, how was your I know how your weekend was. I'll go with Mateo. How was your weekend?
I mean,
Mateo?
Harlem dudes, I don't know. The fighters, the real fighters, is them Philly dudes, bro. All them motherfuckers could box. It's like if they all go to the gym, the boxing gym, they learn how to throw punches.
Y'all ever see It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia? They have that fight milk they make. They've got they drink Riot Juice, which is just like grain alcohol and like Gatorade or something.
What the fuck?
Show's so good. So Tony, I have been sick all week. It's been just a full on like soft Mateo kind of week. I've had nothing but hoodies on all week. Been in blanket cocoons. Tell you though, had a weird thing happen this week. So I was medicated, and I decided to watch Moneyball, right? And after I watched Moneyball, I got all like riled up on baseball, so I had to play a baseball game. So I went and spent $40 on this baseball game, Super Mega Baseball 3. This game's so good, dude. It's so damn good.
I like that game, actually. I don't know about 3. I might have played Super Mega Baseball 1 a while back.
3 is pretty solid. But here's the weird thing, though. A buddy of mine also happened to watch Moneyball the same fucking day that I did. And then he got all riled up, and he went and downloaded MLB The Show. It's because he needed to play a baseball game.
Yeah. Is it your first time watching Moneyball?
Yeah, I'd never seen it before.
Oh, it's such a good movie.
It's fantastic, dude.
It's so great.
Where'd you watch it on?
I think it's on Netflix. Pretty sure it's on Netflix right now.
Did you watch it though? I told you. I feel like we had this conversation a couple weeks ago. I told you to watch it. And you told me you would.
We had a baseball conversation.
And then I guess you depressed me because you didn't watch it. I have
not watched it yet.
Well, now I feel betrayed. I hate you.
Damn. What about you, Doe? How was your week?
I have been just pretty much working. I rode 21 miles yesterday. That felt good.
Damn.
Yeah, that night picture I sent y'all, that was me on the east side. It was nice. I watched. I'm almost.
That was the bridge with those lights.
That was the Empire State Building. I was on the east side, lower east side.
Gotcha. I didn't see that.
And like the bicycle.
For some reason, I don't know. I was drunk the other night. I was looking through my phone, and there was a picture on my phone. It looked like I took the picture, but that doesn't make any sense. And it was like a big ass bridge with these bright ass lights. It looked like New York City to me, but I know I didn't take that picture. And I was like,
I think that was Doe's picture, right?
I don't know. It's a possibility. I have to check.
But I was very confused. I was like, I didn't take this. Like, was I blacked out? Like, I was confused.
Yeah.
But, I was drunk pooch.
It must be nice. It must be nice biking through New York in the middle of the night. Like, night riding sounds so much fun in that fucking city. Also more dangerous, obviously, but it sounds fun as hell.
Yo, the path was super dead. I saw some women out there by themselves. I felt scared for them. I'm like, yo, this shit's kind of dangerous. There's been rapings recently in like Central Park and shit like that early in the morning. So like there's a lot more mentally ill people out on the street. And apparently this guy had just been let go a few days earlier for the same charges. I guess he got out of jail and just, I think personally, man, I think some of these people have been in the system so long that some of them don't even know how to function outside of the system. Like, and they're like, I just need to go back in there because I get 3 hot meals and a place to sleep. Like, you know what I mean? So they're like, fuck it. And the shit is sad, man. The amount and they don't do nothing about it, and they never will do anything about the mentally ill and the homeless. I've given up on the government or the cities to do something. It's just, it sucks.
Damn, you just straight up given up.
Yeah, I've for as long as I've lived, they just have never cared really, and it just seems like that's the way it's going to continue to be.
Does that mean no more voting? What does giving up mean?
No. I'm just saying, like, as far as if I could vote for something, I'll definitely be in line voting. You know what I mean? If I really care about it, which I do. I'm just recently started to care more about what happens during voting time. I started to look it up more. I started to see, like, I knew a majority of the candidates that were being voted on for this term for mayor. We got super cop Eric Adams now. Apparently, here's the inside scoop that I got on this guy. Apparently, he was the worst. He's a terrible, really annoying cop that the Chiefs used to throw this guy from precinct to precinct because nobody could work with him.
Jesus.
Yeah. So apparently that's Eric Adams' reputation. He's trying to bring back these old laws that put a whole bunch of people in jail. Now you got BLM talking about inciting violence and riots, which I do not think you should try to say anything like that as any organization. I don't think they're making their case any better. But
you're saying that BLM was trying to incite violence?
BLM said that they will riot and there will be violence if they bring these laws back into effect. Because apparently they're not there anymore, and since he's like super cop, he's like gonna the city has an issue right now with gang and violence and robberies and stuff like that, so they're trying to clean up the streets, so to speak. But yeah,
I wonder, there was this state, or maybe it was just a city, I don't know, maybe Wisconsin, maybe Indiana. I'm probably botching this, but there's one state in America that's trying this experiment of
with
like
no cops.
doing,
with no cops, right?
Oh no. It was about doing prisons differently, because Dewey started this with the reason that crime is bad is because presumably all these prisoners are getting out and not knowing how to live and doing stuff to get back into the system or whatever. But yeah. There's some Scandinavian countries that do interesting things. Like I think it was Norway or Sweden.
One of the
that
two.
They like the people in the prison. They just kind of hang out. They got TVs. The fucking place where they live just looks like a beautiful apartment. They cook their own food. They kind of have all this space to just sort of live their life. They're not even locked in their cells. They lock themselves in their cells at night. They go into the cell and they lock themselves. And the idea is just like, and these people go out and they work. They work jobs outside of the prison and shit. So the idea is like these people are gonna, learn how to function in society better. By the time they're out of prison, they'll be capable of reintegrating with society pretty much. And there's a state in America, and I don't remember which one, they modeled the prison after that system. So who knows? Maybe in a couple of years we'll have some data about how that goes. Maybe other states will start to adopt like this different kind of prison system.
Yeah, I once knew a electrician that his older brother had been in for like 15 or something years. It was right before like the phone started to get very advanced. He said when he got out and he handed his brother a phone, that for he still holds the phone. that's with one hand. So he's like, yeah, he didn't know how to use phones. He didn't understand a lot when he came out. It was like a big leap in technology for him. So he had to get used to it.
I did.
Were you? What's up, Tony?
I was gonna say what your comment was about no cops. That would be really strange. Like a place did that already.
I remember some kind of there was a city that was doing some kind of look into that. I don't know if it ever actually happened or not.
I think it was supposed to be Seattle or Oregon or one of those states.
Portland. I think it was.
But they just voted against it
because I think it was a total fucking catastrophe. They got rid of all the cops and the crime skyrocketed like crazy.
Yeah, that shit sounds wild.
I don't think they did anything. I think they were gonna vote on it and they voted against it. Like they actually kept the police there because there was no sort of infrastructure set up for there not to be police there.
You've got to have a massive change to like the entire system in place with that. You can't just vote out the cops and then be like, and then we'll figure it out from there. And you have to have a whole fucking plan in place for something like that.
I don't even know what the plan is. I mean, like, look at this, right? On one hand, there's people that want this. They're talking about abolish the police. We'll go to community policing, right? And these are the same people that are pissed off that Kyle Rittenhouse went to a place and tried to be like a community cop and stop like violence. It's like the shit don't fucking work. Like
it doesn't.
I don't think like people of the community marching the streets with AR-15s is really the world I want to be a part of. They're gonna get some cowboy ass motherfuckers shooting people. Yeah, and I don't know. I think that's not, to me, sounds way worse.
Could you imagine those neighborhood watch signs would be so much fucking scarier if that were the reality? You wouldn't go into a neighborhood that has a neighborhood watch.
It'd be like 17 George Zimmermans live here.
Diablo.
Okay, Tony and Booch. We know how your weekend went, but I think you two need to do a tandem retelling of whatever you feel is appropriate from your party weekend.
It was for my birthday party. Or it was for my birthday. It was a party for me that I threw. It was I had a great time. A lot of fun. Everybody came through, showed love. It wasn't supposed to be like a food thing. It was supposed to be just like drinks and stuff, but they ended up being food there. So we had like Publix chicken wings.
Yo, yeah. shout out to Sally's empanadas. Yo, the best empanadas I've ever had. I'm not even gonna lie. They were crispy. I don't know how to describe that. Like most empanadas are just good, but this had a crunch to it. Like so, it was soft and very crunchy. It's like I don't know. It's like she put crunch inside of it or something. I don't know. You're biting into this thing. The textures were on point. So shout out to the empanadas. She made 66 empanadas. They were gone.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Them empanadas hit. Like when she said she was going to surprise me, she told me that she was going to make them. I was like, all right, yeah, just be on time with them. That way I can start smacking on them earlier. But
that's love right there. Someone making you 66 empanadas.
No, my mom. It's your mother, you know.
Would you say that they were good enough to take off of Pucho's plate while he wasn't looking?
I would never steal off of people's plates. There's plenty of food there for me not to steal off your plate.
I would say it's definitely good enough. It wouldn't make it right that you did it, but it would make sense that you did it. You know, that's all I'm saying.
I should have recorded that drunk call that you two gave us last night.
Oh, we called you?
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Yeah, you gave us a drunk call. Bucho's over there dancing in the background and doing like a finger gun pose, and then he comes up to the camera and you both just freeze, and he's like, "Y'all thought that the camera was frozen." He was like Batista, the Drax character. I've mastered standing so quietly and that people when I turn invisible.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, y'all should have recorded it. We could have thrown it in here some way somehow. But
I didn't remember the call, but I remembered that part. Is that when Mateo said, "Oh yeah, you were standing still trying to tell us, make us think the phone was frozen," and I was like, I remember doing that.
Y'all were 3 bottles in, I think, at that point. You said you killed 2 bottles of Jameson and a bottle of Don Julio.
We killed a bottle of Jameson and halfway killed the second one. And then I started drinking Don Julio, first time drinking it. Bro, that's some smooth tequila. I hate tequila. Tequila makes me throw up. I didn't throw up. I was shocked. I still have it back here.
I didn't drink the Don Julio because I told you guys last week I can't drink tequila.
You can't do tequila.
Can't do tequila.
I can't do tequila, but I drank it. And then I tried to give Pucho shots. This man hit me with the no more. I was shocked.
All right, well, let me tell you how my day went, okay?
Oh, my bad.
I went to a 94-year-old lady's birthday party first. Okay.
Which party was more lit?
Define lit. They had karaoke at the 94-year-old lady's birthday party. So, and everybody went up to sing. It was intense. They were going table for table and saying, all right, it's your turn now. It's your turn now.
Damn.
That's that pressure.
Yeah, Dominicans don't fuck around. You know,
Could they have used DJ Alex Sensation?
Alex Sensation was present, and he was mixing the music, and yeah, the karaoke was just some of the worst that I've ever sat and listened to. It was sad at times. It was depressing at times. It was painful even, you know. But something saved me, okay? Every table had a bottle of Malbec on it.
Nice.
And so I drank a lot of wine yesterday. And so by the time I got to Tony's house, I had drank about 3 bottles worth of wine to the face.
Oh shit.
Just sitting there, just pouring wine, listening to karaoke, and waiting until, you know, the party was over. And,
now I get why you wanted to go first to explain the cancellation of my shots.
So by the time I got to Tony's house, not only was I drinking beers, not only was me and Tony drank, I don't know, like a ridiculous number of shots. You already know how Tony is. And he was going fast. Like it was like shot, 3 minutes later, shot. I'm like, dude, you got to slow down with this shit. But he didn't. So that kind of went for a while.
That's what he was doing to us in that last episode, dude. Dude's over there drinking shots of water, and he's like, oh, shots time.
What a fucking asshole. And then they had like this drink. It's like a death punch. It was just like a bunch of different alcohol mix. So I took some of that, poured some Hennessy in there, and I was sipping on that. Delicious, but also it's destruction. It's dangerous because it just tasted good.
Was it a 4-finger death punch, or would you say a 5-finger death punch?
I don't know what the difference is.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't know. I don't think it was safe, okay? I think it'd be dead. So yeah, you know, when it was about 2 a.m, I was telling Tony like, nah, I'm not taking a shot no more. I don't know. I know my limits, and I was just a few shots away from throwing up. So I was just like, this is where I'm gonna call it. I'm feeling nice. We're having a good time. I linked up with some old friends. I was laughing fucking hysterically all night long. It was cool. Tony's cousin's a cop. We got into a bunch of conversations about how shitty police could be, and that was cool.
You brought the cop onto the video call.
Oh yeah, did I say he was a cop?
Yes, a lot of times, many times,
many times.
Really?
Yes.
What did I say about the cop?
You said he was a 5-0. You said that you had some conversations. You said that you made some statement that Doe's like, yeah, I could agree with that. I was like, oh, I got you. You're agreeing with the cop. Look at you.
Oh yeah, nah, man, he's cool. We had a lot of very sensible conversations, you know. And that was good. It was nice to be able to be like, yo, cops could be shitty sometimes. And he's like, 100%. And that felt good. You know, he's not one of them thin blue line cops, which is also cool. He's like, fuck, that just sounds like a cult, you know? So that was cool, you know, to have just, you know, regular conversations and you know, be like, you know, maybe there's hope that maybe we could go back to some world where like cops and the community could have like good relations, you know?
So we should probably switch topics here soonish, but I'm going to nominate Pucho here. Pucho, why don't you tell the people watching our video the big change that we had come to the podcast this week as far as our availability?
Right. That's right. So it only took us about 40-ish weeks of doing this podcast, but we finally released our podcast on audio platforms. So you can find us on Apple. You can find us on Spotify. You can find us on Amazon, all them other weird podcast sites like Podchaser, Podcasters, and fucking Stitchers, and we're all over the fucking place.
The two of you that are listening on Pandora, we got you. We're on there.
And we're not on Pandora yet, all right? For some reason, these guys have the most insane fucking submission process, okay? And it's going to take months before our podcast gets submitted. I have no idea why. I looked all over the internet, and apparently it's the norm.
Huh.
So we're in there. We're submitted. We're waiting. So for the dozen of you guys that use Pandora to listen to podcasts, use something else for the time being, all right? Use something.
Spotify exists. Just one up yourself.
Yeah. You guys watching on here, like this shit, subscribe to this shit, click on the bell so you guys know when our videos come out. If you guys are listening on audio, follow, like, subscribe, whatever the fuck it's called on that platform. Basically, do whatever you got to do to get notified our episodes come out. Apple and Spotify hit me with the notification today that my pod went up today. So I was like, dope. I didn't even know what time it was going up. It just went up. And I was like, all right, this shit works. So do whatever I did on that app, all right?
Doe, you take us into this next topic. I think you got some opinions on this.
Yeah. I gotta look it up because I kind of forgot what the topic. Oh no, I know exactly what we're talking about. Astroworld. Astro. They say that it was a low frequency demon party.
A low frequency demon party? Is that what you said?
So they say that going to church is high frequency, and then going to a place like the Astroworld event is a low frequency, which you can get into your darker side, into the demon world.
What?
Just a small conspiracy theory. I'll throw that in there. Make sure I had to, give those people some shine. No,
yeah, I have some friends in Puerto Rico that I guess there's a lot of people over there that are posting about how the Astroworld was actually hell, that it was a demonic place with actual hell. They're saying there's no way that hundreds of people, there have been hundreds of testimonies of people that went to Astroworld. They weren't standing near each other and they all described it the same place. They were living in hell. I thought it was dramatic.
So, Doey, to your high frequency, low frequency thing, they have done some studies, and a lot of there's like it's like subsonic sounds or infrasonic sounds or something like that, like low frequency sounds can cause people to have auditory and visual hallucinations. A lot of people seeing ghosts and things like that, they think that they could be related to these type of frequencies, like a generator being close to their property and the vibrations from that causing this like chance of having hallucinations and shit like that.
So you're saying if the bass was hitting right, they might have been in hell briefly.
You remember the E flat from South Park? It made everybody take a huge shit in there.
Was it the brown note?
The brown note.
Should make your pants turn doo-doo brown.
But yeah, very tragic what happened over there. I think that honestly was a complete failure on every single side. From him on stage to the Live Nation crew to everyone in security not calling it early, like, hey, we're at like 3 people in cardiac arrest. I think I would have called it if I was like somebody special in this. I would have been like, all right, this is you gotta call us. I don't agree with 9 people dead. Obviously too many people were let into this concert, because one of the main stories that I kept hearing was that people would be with their friends in the crowd and their friends would get swept away from them. Like they would just get pulled into the crowd and get pulled away. It's how one woman died, Tony. So I don't know if I'd really laugh too loud about that.
I'm laughing about how you're explaining it. Obviously, niggas who are dying. Also, mind you, whatever. I'm not laughing at deaths, bro. I'm just saying,
someone getting swept away in a sea of human bodies, the shit sounds hilarious, okay?
I mean...
I was at a concert one time. I was at a Childish Gambino show at ACL Fest, and it was, you know, October in Texas, which is still like 95 fucking degrees. And we were waiting there for like an hour and a half for a set to open up, because, you know, the ACL Fest has multiple sets and they open it, you know, there's every hour and a half, 2 hours, there's a show or something. We were waiting for Gambino, and we were like 2 people away from the stage, and just a crush of people just kept appearing behind us. It got so tight, we ran out of water. It felt like it was like 110 degrees there. We were like getting dehydrated. We were bartering with people around us to get sips out of their like containers of water. This is in a pre-COVID world, obviously, but it got rough. Even that was a scary experience. I can't even imagine what it was like on the floor at Astroworld.
Would you say it felt like you were in hell?
It was pretty hellish. I'm not gonna lie. It was
maybe some of these places are low frequency environments, you know, and then and the world between the living and the dead are slowly. All right, let's stop kidding here. You know what was ridiculous sounding was, like Doey said, people are getting swept away. Like I've been to shows where it's been like that, where like
100%.
Like the first time I took Lisa to a rock concert, it was an indoor event and nowhere near the number of people. We're talking about like 1,000 people tops or something. It was a small little indoor venue, and even that shit, it got so packed that like when someone moved, the whole entire place moves. The whole group of people, like you're so packed in this space that you guys are just like one body. It's like you guys are actually like a body of water, and that shit is like swaying back and forth, and you can't really move and all that shit. So I could totally see how these things occurred with 50,000 bodies. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like 50,000, 20,000 people pushing up behind you.
There was a 12-foot like gate or some shit like that. It was like a huge gate in front of them. And basically what happened was the people got pressed up onto that gate. Eventually they became so exhausted that once you fell down, literally there was one person's account that said that there was in one area like 2 layers of bodies that had fallen down, and it just because people kept getting pushed forward, they kept standing on top of them and you couldn't go anywhere.
That was the chick that posted on Instagram, right?
Yes.
I read that. Her account is fucking frightening, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was talking about how like as soon as some people started falling to the ground, that it was like a hole opened up in the earth, and the crowd would get like sucked into like it was like the falling, like someone would fall, and because everybody was pushing so much, people would trip over those bodies, and they would trip, and it was this huge thing where people were just falling into these holes. They're not holes, just like a little pocket of people laying down in this crowd.
She said the camera operator threatened to throw her off the 12-foot like camera boon or whatever because she climbed up there to try to get attention and help.
Yeah, I was gonna say that guy's gonna get fucked. Like when as they're proceeding through trying to investigate this stuff, those videos are gonna be intense. Like someone yelling at you saying, "Yo, there's someone dead right there. Like figure out how to help them." And you're talking about, dude, if you don't get off, I'm pushing you off this thing. I don't know. It shows like a big lack of attention and care. And,
the one that I'm not gonna lie, that made me not only laugh but made me really pissed off was when they pulled that body out of the crowd and Travis is looking at him, and ooh, and auto tune, and it's just like, come on, bro, like what are you? Yeah.
Yeah, that shit is ridiculous.
The kid's body is lifeless and he's just staring down at him. And the ambulance part, like those are 2 things that obviously either this shit goes down a lot in his concerts that he's just kind of like, oh, it's just what happens. And but yeah, like, hey, make room for the ambulance, the emergency services. And then Pucho describes it best. Describe it, Pucho.
Nah, dude. This ambulance is like fucking plowing through this crowd trying to get to these bodies. Not only do you have people like jumping up on the ambulance, twerking and dancing on this shit. This is probably a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? for some of these people, these idiots. Not only was that happening, but then Travis Scott's like, all right. He's staring right at the ambulance, and he's like, all right, everybody put a middle finger up in the air, all right? And you're just like, is he saying fuck you to the ambulance?
I saw that clip, and I was like, why? What is that?
And then he waits like 5 seconds, and he's like, nah. Give me 2 middle fingers. And it wasn't enough fucks for him. He's like, we need more fucks. Come on.
Needed 100,000 fucks in the air.
So yeah. So I mean, situation's fucked.
They mosh at Travis Scott shows, right? He's one of the artists that has like actual mosh pits, like the hip hop artist that has mosh pits.
Yeah, his shows get crazy. People often get injured and things like that. Obviously, never to this extent, but this is like these types of things are not uncommon at shows, which says something. It's like maybe you're doing something wrong. Like if this is common, it's like, maybe we need to try something different. You know what I mean?
He likes to rage. Like all his like in all his things, like that's what he likes. Like let's rage. He wants the whole crowd in as a pretty much as a wave, just listening to him. He's like, it's almost like an orchestra, right? He's the fucking guy in the front, and he's just commanding, and that's why a lot of people are saying that that he could have stopped and prevented these deaths, shit like that. But it's
let's do some devil's advocate here, Tony. What do you think he could have done to prevent these? Because I know that we have heard some arguments from people saying, what do you expect him to do? He's just on stage. He didn't even see this shit. What responsibility is there on Travis Scott?
I mean, the ambulance part, that shit's beats. He should be like, yo, make way, instead of trying to say, give me a finger. Give me 2 fingers. Like, you know, he should be like, yo, make way for that. But I mean, honestly, like his concerts, there's a fucking ridiculous amount of people there, right? So it's hard to see if people are getting knocked down or whatever. He's doing a lot of things, right? It's not really, his voice will stop and command these people, but at the same time, he's putting on a show, so he doesn't know if there is something really going down or not. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've never been on stage or of anything or any type of event, but for someone like him who has hundreds of thousands of people in front of him, 1 or 2 people fall, 3 or 2 people fall, 100 people fall, you're not going to see that in that sea of crowd. You know what I mean? Like if somebody would have got on stage and be like, yo, there's people dying or something at him, right? Yeah, at that point, he needs to be like, what? Yo, hold on, cut the fucking music. What the fuck is going on here? Back the fuck, you know what I mean?
I did see a video clip where it looked like someone from his entourage went on stage and told him that some shit was going down. But I mean, we're not privy to that conversation. We don't know what the actual conversation was. Maybe he was just going and asking him if he wanted some more water or something.
Yeah, because it's just at that point, he could have prevented more shit from going down. But at the same time, that's not on him. Like people are trying to come at him. Oh, lawsuits, this and that. You can't sue this man for what the management of the event needed to take control of. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he could help. He could have definitely helped. But why are you coming at Travis Scott for that shit? Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. One Up Podcast had a 1 down moment. Technical difficulties.
Got hit with that poison mushroom.
Yeah, the Astro shit starting to bleed in with us. But yeah, devil's advocate. Though, you got something you wanted to say, add on top of what I was saying with the concert?
Yeah, like absolutely, I agree that you can't blame Travis 100%. But I think, is he liable? Yeah, but like if we're gonna put it from a 1 to 100, I would say he's like 25% liable. He definitely could have, played out everything that I saw that he saw. He could have definitely handled those parts better. And I think Live Nation is mostly culpable for, if you're gonna sell tickets to a venue, you should know what the max occupancy is, and it seems like that was oversold Like there might be like a maximum occupancy fire hazard kind of thing going on there. Because to see people crushed in that way, like the only time you ever really see stuff like that is when festivals are mismanaged. And I think this particular one was mismanaged. I think from head to toe. I even think the police have a liability there, because once I heard from what I heard, the police say that they said to stop the show, and then like it didn't get stopped for like another 45 minutes. So I don't know what the cause of like the connection of from Live Nation to Travis and like letting him know like it's a wrap, bro. We got to cut this concert. I don't know what was going on there, but I think in every facet they failed their concert goers. You know what I mean? It's just like if in a Broadway show some shit collapsed and hit one of the audience members and like killed them, like they're liable for that shit. That would be completely on the Broadway show because they didn't keep the person who bought their ticket safe. It sucks because you think because this is run by professionals that they're not going to make any mistakes, but you can see very clearly that none of this is set up in a way where you're going to be 100% safe. So you could like say that you have more of a chance of dying at a festival than you do in other things. Like that shit is a little crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so from my perspective, I agree with a lot of what you're saying. There's a lot of arguments going on the internet about how culpable people are. And there are people that are saying like, Travis is not culpable whatsoever. You can't hold an artist accountable for like what occurred. From my perspective, there were clearly moments where he could have helped. You know, he could have said, you know, try to control the audience better and things like that. But ultimately, we're not going to know what really happened until more information comes out. Because even as simple as like you're saying, there's a 45-minute gap between the cops shutting it down and it actually getting shut down. Who knows if Live Nation was like, nah, the show got to go 45 minutes in order for these people to feel like they got their money's worth. But maybe like, you know, they made some kind of like call like that. It was like, all right, we're going to do it 45 more minutes and we'll cancel the rest of the today's show and then tomorrow's show. And that might, you know, we won't have to refund or something, right? Like, and I'm just speculating like what is possible. Right, we're not gonna know why that occurred. It could have just been communication, like how long it took from getting daisy chained all the way to whoever could actually shut things down.
The investigation into this thing is going to be fucking wild. They're going to pull phone records. They're going to have every single minute of concert footage analyzed. There's going to be how many people are they possibly going to interview? There's potentially 50,000 people to have to interview for first person like perspectives on what the fuck went down. This is going to be a crazy investigation.
It's going to be costly at that. Like all that tax dollars people are going to have to spend just of investigations alone. Like,
listen,
but yeah,
man.
I think.
They said that thousands of people. Then they said like over 10,000 people have injuries from this thing.
Yep.
Like that they have some type of injury.
Well, no, I can only imagine. You're saying like when you guys went to those concerts, you guys were like stuck together, and however the crowd moved. Imagine you could break an arm or leg or anything so quick, and then get trampled like fucking like. I don't know, like a stampede. Like that's pretty much what it was, a stampede.
At that at that Gambino show, it was so tight that I picked up my arms at one point because they were so much heat, and I just needed to try to breathe. I could not get my arms back down because there were so many people next to me that I could not get my arms back down next to my body.
That girl said the same thing in her little testimony. She said the same exact thing. Like once you put your arms up, you could not put your arms back down. And that's like a clear indicator that the fire marshals at that point, you would call it like, but I don't know where any of those people were.
Yeah. And it's tough with outdoor venues, right? Like if you're outdoors, how do you, like, what is the maximum occupancy? Like, because all those fire codes and things like that are mostly for indoor things.
Mm-hmm.
Where like, how many people could be in here? Where if the shit caught fire, they could still get out without dying and stuff. Like, right, as you increase those numbers, people are going to start dying. Like right, so they kind of call it as some number of thousands of people could be in this venue or whatever. But when you're outdoors, you don't have that bottleneck. You have other problems. How many people could sanitarily go to the bathroom? How many people could get something to drink? Like things like that, right? Yeah, those outdoor events are disgusting. People pissing and shitting everywhere. Like Mateo said, you gotta you got to bring food. You got to bring drinks because it's not easy. These things be miles big before you could get somewhere to get something.
Mm-hmm.
And when it's packed, you're fighting through crowd. Like, you know what I'm saying? It could take you an hour before you could walk somewhere.
Could you imagine being like at the front of a 50,000 person crowd and then having to go take a piss and push through that crowd somehow to the bathroom and then get back through 50,000 people? You'll never find your friends again. You just sit at the back of the concert at that point, like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Or you just go right there.
Go as a group, or you just don't go. Or you're okay losing everybody. I don't know.
No, it's crazy stuff, man.
I don't know. It seems a little scary to me that I'm not even a parent, but you could send your child off to go see some music, play some music festival. A lot of people say that it's the people's fault. It's the crowd's fault. The crowd didn't know the shit was going to be oversold to the point where they were going to be starting to get crushed. And I don't think anybody really wants to stampede over anyone else. I think, once again, it's just very poorly managed. And I think if you were not managing that, I don't see how that could be, anyone else's fault.
It reminds me of you guys ever watch Metalocalypse on Adult Swim?
No. I've heard of the show.
It was about like the most brutal metal band in the world. And like one of the big things from like, I think even the first episode they talk about it, to go to their shows, you have to sign a death waiver because their shows are so fucking brutal. You're going to die. Like there's some amount of people that are going to die when their shows. That's what this shit reminds me of in a very dark kind of comedic way.
Yeah, I mean, some people are saying that to go to the show, you did have to sign a death waiver of sorts.
Wow.
So they're saying that, I don't know. That was something I saw claimed that like you wouldn't be able to sue, even though there are active lawsuits already.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
And then to your point about the kid or whatever, like sending your kid off, there's a kid. I don't even know how he's doing right now. I didn't check up on it, but like 2 days ago, I saw there was a kid in a coma.
Damn.
12-year-old boy. He went to the concert with his dad, and he was I think his dad just like got so exhausted he couldn't hold his son up anymore, and he like collapsed, and him and the boy got trampled.
God damn.
And the kid got injured so badly that he was in a coma. So
God.
It's not even just sending your kid off to this thing. Like parents went with a kid thinking, it'll be okay. Like I could keep my kid safe, but apparently not.
God damn.
That's super sad.
Tony, I hope this next topic's a little bit more upbeat.
Yeah, for real. Because
Mateo, you are recording, right?
Yes.
Cool.
Perfect.
Tony did the bullshit again.
Uh-oh.
It doesn't just magically stop. Recordings just don't stop.
This child of mine's hit the space button. I thought I clicked.
That's what I'm saying. You gotta click away.
I love this pod, man. It's always the one up here.
It's a fucking garbage truck. Yeah. It's just shit.
It's a fucking shit on top of shit on top of shit.
It's a garbage truck that's on fire, and we got no brakes.
We're the ambulance in Astroworld's fucking thing. The fuck you wanna?
We're trying to save people. We can't make it through a crowd, and we're getting fuck used by everybody. We're trying to save people. Damn it!
A review by my uncle like 30 minutes ago. He's like, "What the fuck are you guys talking on about?" He's like, I can't figure out what the fuck I'm listening to. So that was a quick review.
I'd like Crystal calling us wild in the best ways.
But yeah, man, our next topic is definitely going to be light. Do you guys think, actually, should I say, what are the pros and cons to having one child or having multiple childs as parents or whatever? You know what I mean? Like, I have one kid, so obviously there's pros and cons to it. Everybody has their own view on it. But I'll go out last. I just want to see, mostly from your guys' view, and then see if it kind of coincides with my views on it. But go ahead, Mateo.
I got an add-on to this one too. If you have multiple kids, what is the ideal age gap between those kids?
That's a good one. Yeah.
I think only children tend to be kind of weirdos. I actually have like an unofficial dating rule now in my life that I don't date people unless they also come from a semi-big family like my family. I think there's just a lot of relationship dynamics and family dynamics that just kind of fuck up people that aren't from a big family like mine. Like it blows their mind. There's just a lot of culture clash there. So kind of unofficially, I tend to not try to date people that are only children.
So
that's funny.
That's a con. All right, guys. Mateo won't date your child unless they have siblings. So go make them babies. All right. You want Mateo to be your son-in-law? Gotta have more than one. All right. You gotta have 12 for him. He wants big family.
Yeah.
Family.
What if she's like 20 something and then bam, she pops one out and this kid's got 20 years on this baby? Would that work for you? She has with
the 20-year age gap between kids.
Of course.
She's like, I qualify.
That's where you get into that weird stuff where you call like your brother your uncle because they basically were your uncle growing up.
It happens.
I remember when I remember my uncle. I mean, he's got 20-ish years on me in terms of age. He had a little brother that when I was 8, that kid was like 5. So that little 5-year-old boy is on the same level as my uncle. In terms of it was an uncle that married into the family, so it's not like, that boy wasn't my uncle too. But it just felt strange that like, they're siblings, you know what I'm saying? But I'm fucking teaching this kid how to like play baseball or something. It's just Dominicans don't stop having kids, the age gaps be crazy.
That's some don't drink gin and juice and menace to society shit.
Yeah, that was fucking hilarious. His dad was younger than him.
I forgot about that.
Yo, he was putting his dad to sleep and shit, like tucking him in a bed, making him milk. That shit was so stupid. It was just making fun of the idea of like parents keep getting younger and younger, and then they're gonna start being younger than their own kids.
I think it's
impossible.
Definitely going back to the only child thing. I do find that interesting though, Mateo, that you said you wouldn't date nobody if they're only sibling. Because my wife is the only child, so I know the difference. And when it comes to, I guess, culturally, like how she was brought up versus me, there is a difference, and it's not a difficult way to maneuver as long as you guys kind of communicate. But at first she was so shy, like coming to my house, to my family's house. She was shy. She was very quiet. You guys know her. Put your nose. Yeah, she's a very quiet person. She keeps to herself, and that's something that I believe an only child gets. But sorry, it sounded like he was choking. Yeah. For him, at least, I wouldn't want him to be an only child. I want him to have siblings. Because I grew up like that. So I can only see the good from it, right? But at the same time, Emily's like, nah, like I'm fine. Like, what's wrong with being an only child? Like there's nothing wrong with it. But I know when we grow old and me and Emily die, I want him to have a sibling. You know what I mean? Like, or somebody, like he's gonna have friends, hopefully good friends like what I have. But it's not like a brother or a sister. You know what I mean? Like, because you share your deepest, darkest secrets with your brothers or your sister. You know what I mean? You can rely on them. You know that no matter what, they're going to be there for you once your parents are gone.
I think I share more with my friends than I share with my brother and my sisters.
Well, maybe.
I think age gaps. I think that's why age gaps is a good question that you asked. That's a good switch. because me and my brother were only a year and a half apart, maybe a year and 4 months, and we were super close. Like my brother was my best friend for. We had our periods where we hated each other as children, like you fucking piece of shit. Like I used to, I used to get upset at Michael, but I think the closer you have them in age, the better, honestly. I think the bigger the age gap, the bigger the separation the child's gonna have from his brother or sister. But I think going through things together, getting ass whoopings together, like you know what I mean, going like it's just something about that it just, I guess, builds a bond. So I don't know. That's the way I feel about age gaps. I think you should, if you are financially available to do stuff like that, I think, yeah, you should have more than one children, like more than one child. I think there should be at least two. I would hope one day that I could have at least two children. You know what I mean? In a healthy way, because I don't know. Yeah, I lost my brother and I went from being a sibling to just it feels like an only child. And I don't know. It's not that great. I don't like it. I liked having my brother to share stuff with and like talk about movies. And it's just, there's an outlet there. So like, I don't know. There's an outlet there that for me, it's like having a best friend. And not everybody's gonna love their brother that much. Not everybody has the same history. But I felt like I lost a great person when I lost my brother. So
You did.
There we go. It's back.
So all
This
the
is how our
fans out,
recording's been going today, okay? This is how it's been. All right. It's a fucking disaster today. We're making it happen.
to all the fans again, sorry. We having another one down on the one up. And like how we say we like to one up, we one and upping on the one down. So, like I was saying, Doughboy, you did lose somebody great. Mike was a awesome fucking person. I didn't get to shoot him like I wanted to. Saddened by that. You know
With
how
a gun?
yeah, and his foot, shoot his foot. Remember how he hacked my Facebook? I had my whole family thinking some crazy shit.
Yeah,
I told him I promised him that, but there's always the afterlife when I see him, and you know I'll do that then. But yeah, no, you did lose somebody great. Mike was an awesome dude. I had a
Tony, your afterlife sounds like such a frightening place. There's guns up there, and you can just go around shooting people.
it's spirit guns, all right, spirit guns, the same ones that Pucho had in that video call y'all had last night. That's the same ones. But nah,
finger guns.
Yeah,
going on.
It does suck, man, because you know you went from so you kind of live in both things, but well, you had the experience. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Pros and cons to having siblings and stuff. I do want another one for him and for me and Emily, of course. Like I want him to have that bond. You know what I mean? I have a bond with my sisters that it's you guys know how we are with each other, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. You know what I mean? My wife didn't have a sibling, but she said she loved it. So I just think that's just, you know, it's different, but for me, that's what I would want. But I can't make that decision on my own. You know, that's between you and your partner. But
you can definitely like there's more attention and time you can give to a single child, right? Like an only child, there's so much more attention. You can, if you want to like really help them excel at school, and if Tony wants to really get Luca to be like the NBA star, whatever he said in the previous episode, like he's got his time he's got his target where he can focus all that time and attention and love on one child. So there's definitely some advantages to only children.
Yeah, I definitely think there is a high number. Like if you start getting past like 5, 6 kids, I don't know how anyone has enough time to individually give all those children enough time in their day to not come out with some sort of like, I guess you can hire nannies, but I feel like even then you'll have some sort of issues.
I think most of the time, once you get to like 5, 6 plus kids, it turns into the oldest ones watch the youngest ones. Like they become basically like the built-in sitter. Essentially,
I don't think that's healthy for you to do that to your older child, though.
I agree.
I don't think it's negative. I do think that they'll feel type of way like, yo, like I want to be out doing shit I want to do. I don't want to be stuck at home watching my sisters and brothers. But did it again. And we're back. We're back on the One Down show. Nah, I'm joking. Just the one up. More technical difficulties. But going back on our topic again, I do want to have my own, I guess, like, not my own, but me and my wife come to an agreement to having another child, because I do think it benefits Luca a lot to have a sibling. Other than that, I don't know, man. It is rough, you know, because you got to talk with your significant other, and maybe they have a different feeling, you know, or if she doesn't want to have a kid, or we can adopt, or, you know, whatever the case might be. But I think siblings will be fantastic for anybody to have. But it's not wrong, you know, if you're the only child and you loved it, kudos to you too. Pooch, what do you think? Because I know you have yet to say anything about it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's kind of complicated. We're, you know, as Dominican people, the idea is like pump out as many kids as you can. So literally every family gathering, the question is, when is number 2 coming? I got that question about 30 times yesterday, which I thought was ridiculous. But
I hate that shit when people do that. Like an unwanted.
Yeah, because I mean, you don't really know anybody's situation. Like maybe we were trying for years and we can't do it, you know, or any number of combinations of shit that ain't your goddamn business. So it's just like, I don't know. It's a little funny that people do that shit, but what I was gonna say though is I do think there are pros and cons to having more than one sibling. Like Mateo kind of mentioned earlier, when you have just one child, you could dedicate 100% of your attention to that kid. Once you have a second kid, it's not that you love the kid any less, but it's a fact. They're not going to get as much attention as your first kid got. It's just not possible. You have to still deal with the first kid. So there's some sacrifices that are made there. I'd imagine that the hope is that that's offset by the fact that now they have a sibling they could learn from. They have a sibling they could play with, and, you know, have a friend, and all those benefits of socially, you know, just interacting with someone. I did find Mateo's comment hilarious about dating an only child or whatever. I do find that only children often, not that they lack in personality, but they just don't have as much experience interacting with people, getting into confrontations with people, and the experience of doing that is difficult for them. Like, so just simple shit like getting into an argument with somebody might be a bigger deal to an only child than it would be to someone with siblings that argued every fucking day with their brother, right?
100%.
So there is, I think, some incompatibility there where, you know, if you're an only child and you're dating someone who isn't an only child, like, you know, there may be some like incompatibility. Jesus. But yeah, I don't know. I think 2's the sweet spot personally, but I mean, I don't know. People should have as many kids as they could afford. Like, fuck it, you know. If you can only afford 1, you should only have 1. If you could afford 2, have 2. You know, if you could afford 5, go for it. Ain't my business.
That's fair. How scary would it be to just like be informed? You know what? It's triplets this time. You're trying to have your second child, and they're like, "Oh no, here's 3."
Oh yeah, that happened to my wife's cousin. That's just, well, not triplets, but like they already had 3 kids, and they got pregnant again, and then it was fucking twins. So that fucking extra kid turned into fucking now it's number 5, like, and that's fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's where you got to rethink your car situation. There's a lot of big changes you got to do when you have 5 kids to transport around.
Not only that, you got to also think the amount of sleep you don't get when you get twins. Oh man! And if they're both like on opposite cycles, like one sleeps while the other one wakes up, and then you put that one, and then that one wakes up, you're like, when the fuck do I get to sleep? But I mean, as a parent, you kind of know that, yeah, I'm not getting any sleep anymore. But having twins, yeah, that shit is wild.
Scary stuff, dude.
Shout out to those who's done it, dealt with it, and is still going through it. Y'all are powerful people.
Seriously, I was watching a mom wrangle twins last night, and it didn't look fun. All right, I'm not judging anybody or any. I'm just saying it looked tough. Okay, and I don't want to do it.
I don't even know how my sister tells her twins apart because I still can't. So, like, even that in of itself, props.
She branded one of them. You don't even know it.
I'm not fully convinced that she doesn't just randomly decide. Like, maybe she doesn't know either. She just acts so confident about it that the rest of us believe she can tell the difference.
Damn. Hey, if it works for her, right?
How old are these twins? They're young.
Super young, yeah, toddlers.
Yeah, I think once you get to the toddlers, there's like some personality there that you could start like learning, who a person is and things like that. But when they're fucking babies and they're just shitting and eating and that's all they do, it's like I could totally see that some babies them got mixed up. Like, I don't even know what the harm would be other than the potential issues with like medical history. One kid had asthma when they were a baby, and then that's not in mind anymore because you swapped them or something,
Start off as Gary, now you're Greg.
It's like Parks and Recs, right? Gary, Jerry. He had all, they kept calling him other names. I forget what other ones.
They called him Terry.
Terry. His name is actually Gary, I think. So they changed his name from Jerry to Harry to Terry, and then he got back to Gary, and he was like, "Yes, they're back to my actual name." Yeah. And that only lasted a couple episodes. It was funny.
But yeah, Mateo, why don't you go ahead and lead us on to that beautiful topic you came up with?
So, here's a question for y'all. We all come from Hispanic families. Sorry, y'all. This is gonna be some brown person content.
Yeah. Full spoiler. It's all brown.
Yeah, full spoiler. Some fucking jackass on Twitter said, "All right, I got some criticism for you guys. Can you guys tone the ghetto down a little bit?" But so in the clip, I'm like, "Dude, what part of this is ghetto?" And he's just like, all right, you're making me be more direct, okay? For us majorities, there's a lot of minorities on your podcast, okay? So that was his version of telling us to tone the ghetto down, is to just like, turn up the exposure on the, we got to just whiten up our image a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Let me help him out with that. I'm not brown no more.
So to bring it back around though, we all come from Hispanic families. Hispanic moms tend to be very meddly. Hispanic parents in general tend to kind of meddle in their kids' affairs. Should your parents be involved in your relationship? And if yes, to what extent? Like, when should they be involved in your relationship?
And we're saying relationship with your partner or your child or both?
Both, honestly. I think the child is a good one too.
I guess if you don't mind, I'll go with this one.
Yeah.
None at all. 0%. I don't think they should be involved at all, unless you see something that's concerning, like abuse, or maybe just abuse. You know what I mean? Or someone's cheating, or they think someone's cheating. They can give you inputs, but on a day-to-day basis, they don't need to be involved in any part of my relationship. Other than just, being a family member and, that regular shit, but commenting and this and that and interacting and planning shit, nah. My wife watches these shows on whatever channel she watches it, and there's like, what is it called? Mama's Boy still or some shit like that? these 40-year-old men, their mom dictates everything in their relationship still. And these girls are dating them. They're just like, yo, can you, like, what is this shit? Like, the mom will go with the son and she'll pick out the lingerie for his girl or his wife. I'm like, what? And then she comes down with her own version of the lingerie herself.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy shit. And she's like, yo, your mom literally like has the same shit that you got me. Oh yeah, she picked it out. And you know, it's just crazy shit like that. So yeah, I don't think that shit's a no-no.
What type of reality television is this?
It's on the bro. There's a lot of weird ones out there. A lot.
So I had this ex roommate back in college that he talked to his mom on the phone every single day. And I never saw him actually date anyone, but anyone he was interested in, he always texted a picture to his mom first to see if she would approve. And I thought that was wild. I just don't have that kind of relationship with my mom. My parents, their obligation is to be civil to my partner. That's their obligation. I don't need any other input besides that. Unless I'm asking directly, that's when you can give input. But otherwise, don't need your input.
At all.
I think there's a balance. I think the no input is maybe ideal in your mind because you think you know what's best for you. But a lot of times your parents know what's best for you. You know, as a parent now, like when my kid is a fucking dumbass teenager and doing dumbass teenager things, I have a hard time believing that the teenager is going to be like, no, I totally know everything that's right for me and blah, 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 and that I should have no input.
They're going to say it.
Of course
but
they're
are
going to
they
say
actually
it. I mean,
going to know it?
Yeah. Yeah, we used to say, right? Are they going to know it or is it going to be true? Like, probably not. I don't know. I think there's a lot of things. And I don't think it's just abuse, for example. Like, what if like a partner that your child picks is like encouraging them to like quit school
or gets into some sort of drugs,
right?
And just to be clear, I'm talking for like our age example, like your parents meddling in with your thing. That's if you.
No, I'm talking about what about if it's a 17-year-old kid, 16-year-old son,
20-year-old kid, 22-year-old kid, like college age. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if we're saying now that you guys don't know how to make your own decisions and think clearly for yourselves and what benefits you, what doesn't, you have a serious problem.
I think post 18, honestly, there should be no meddling unless, like Tony said, there's some bad shit going on, like abuse and you know, drugs and dangerous drug use and things like that.
I actually think, like you said before, if it's a healthy balance, then I don't see any problem. You know what I mean? I think sometimes people don't know how to stay in their own lane and like, hey, you're my mother, and you know what I mean? You got to create that boundary. A lot of people don't have healthy boundaries with their family members sometimes, and they get too involved with each other's lives, and whether it be because of some sort of mental illness or whatever it may be, I think sometimes people get used to it and they think that that's normal. But I think as long as you have like a healthy relationship, which is like, I'm creating the perfect scenario, right? Because nobody really has the perfect scenario. But I think if you can make a healthy boundary and try to keep that and reinforce it, I think you can be pretty open with your like parents and stuff like that. But I think there are things that you need to keep private. You can't let, you know what I mean? You can't let everybody know everything and be some sort of open, you know what I mean? I think there's limits to everything.
In my life, I've never asked my parents for like sex advice or anything because we don't have that level of relationship. My mom bought me condoms when I started dating. They were, you know, they're sex positive in that they're not shaming me for being a teenager having sex or anything. But I've never taken like sex advice from any of my parents. I've never gone to them with a sexual question or anything like that. My mom sure as hell is not picking out lingerie for my partner like in Tony's weird reality show.
My wife's not mine.
Yeah, and by association. No, I don't know. I think I mostly just disagree with you guys. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't care what age my kid is. If I think they got with a person and that person isn't good for them, like, I don't think I'm in the wrong if I'm telling my kid that. And to Mateo's point, I'm not saying that I'm not going to be civil with these people. Like, right? Like, I could totally treat a person just fine and also tell my kid I don't like that person. Like, because I do it daily. I interact with dozens of people I don't like, and I treat them just fine and respectful. And I understand that might create some strain between, like, your kids' relationship and stuff like that. But, like, I don't know. It's just hard for me. Like, any other thing, though, right? Like, you would interfere, right? Like, if your kid just on their own decided to quit school, as an example, you would tell them, hey, I don't think quitting school is the right idea. Like, you would try to guide them into making the right choice, right? I guess why is relationships different?
Well, I mean, let's take it into like a friendship consideration.
Yeah, totally.
Like, if someone's mom on this, one of our moms was like, hey, I don't like your friend Tony. He's fucking obnoxious. I don't think you should be friends with him anymore, or something like that. Like, it's that appreciated input. Is it fucked up for my mom to text me and say that to me? Or
it's certainly uncomfortable. Like especially you're gonna want to defend your friend. Like, you might be like, no, I like my friend. Like, he's a good friend. I think it's fine. Like, on one sense, it's a little fucked up because they're bringing some negativity towards you. Mm-hmm. But I would hope that their criticism goes beyond that. Like, you want me to stop being friends with someone because they're obnoxious. It's like, really? That's the whole thing? It's like, all right, I think I could deal with that as a negative with all the other positives that comes with this friendship. But if they're like, yo, I think your friend does all types of crimes and I don't want you to get roped into that bullshit, I don't see what's wrong with your parent telling you that and saying, look, man, be careful around this guy. Like, I hung out, like, growing up, you can ask anybody. I was pretty straight edge. Like, I did drink alcohol and stuff, but I didn't do drugs for whatever reason. I hung out with a lot of drug users. And my mother, that was concerning to my mother. So regularly she would tell me, like, yeah, I feel uncomfortable that you're hanging out with all these people that are, like, smoking weed around you and things like that. And I used to just tell my mom, like, no, mommy, I understand. You know me, I'm still getting good grades. I'm still going to school. Like, I'm good. Like, these are friends. They're doing stuff that I don't agree with, but I'm enjoying their company and I'm not going to meddle with that shit, you know? And in those cases, it worked out. I know plenty of people that started hanging out with people that smoke weed and then they start smoking weed too. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know. I think a parent telling their kid, don't fuck around with that person isn't wrong. Like, they're just concerned. Like, I don't know.
Does that mean that any and all criticisms are allowed, and any passing thought, or is there a line where it's like, no, this is an appropriate level of concern because you have evidence to back it up or something?
I think there's levels. Like, whatever criticism they're levying against someone, I think has to be big enough. Like, otherwise it'll just feel very petty. Like, it'll be like, oh, you saw how Tony just threw his shoes over there?
He froze. Oh. This is definitely the one down. We're just going to keep going, though, because he's got local audio going.
Yeah, he's got local.
You've been quiet. What are your thoughts?
You froze, Pooch.
Am I back?
Still frozen. But
just keep going,
I think, once again, like, you got to create a healthy boundary because, like, yeah, you want to take criticism, and it's fine for somebody to be concerned or suspicious. Sometimes people are overly suspicious, and sometimes you have to deal with people who are paranoid, and then that's where you start to get into the issue of running into, like, people that want too much control. You know what I mean? Like, no, I told you to stop hanging out with that person, and it's like,
that's when you're
like, I know how to, lead my life, and I know how to do my own thing. I think when it starts getting down to that, I think people want, especially parents, want like the best for you and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're going to lead your own life and you're going to do the things you want to do and you're going to become your own person. You know what I mean? And some people learn through other people telling them and some people learn on their own.
But that's the disagreement I'm having with Pucho though, right? Because Pucho's saying if I tell my daughter this and that, but at what age gap are you saying it? And me and Mateo are saying it's fine if your parents make a comment, but what is not fine is them trying to tell you how, when, what. That's what we're saying. So I understand what Pucho's saying when he's saying like, oh, we should like I'm gonna tell my daughter like I don't think that guy is good. He's doing drugs or whatever, this and that. But it's like, okay, we get that, but at what age? Like, we understand, like, high school and all this and young, but once she hits, like, 28, 25, yeah, you can say, hey, I don't really like him. He seems kind of funny, but that's it. That's fine to do. But telling her...
Why does age matter?
Because it matters.
Why does it matter is the question, Tony.
Because you're a grown-ass man. I mean, your mother tells you, yo, you shouldn't be out drinking with Caballo because he's an alcoholic and he does a lot of dumb shit. You're, like, that's her telling you what you...
What's wrong with that?
I think that at a certain point it just is. I feel pretty self-autonomous in my life. My family being in my life is at my leisure. It's at my choice. I'm not living under my mom's roof. She doesn't pay my bills. I don't think I have a responsibility to give a shit about what my parents think about the things I'm doing in my life. If I want to go and spend my entire next paycheck on cocaine, I am a grown person, and that is my choice.
As a friend, I would advise you not.
I mean,
when you do that, you let me know. I'll get a ticket over there.
Like, you're not gonna do all that coke by yourself.
Not by yourself, my friend.
He's just joining me as a saving my life.
Yeah.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, there's an extent.
Hold on, I'm saying, but the argument you just made
is by age. Yeah.
No. Sorry, is against you. You as a friend shouldn't and couldn't give him that criticism.
No. See, that's where you're getting confused. As a parent and as a friend, right? I'm saying to
when
give
do
an
you stop
advice
becoming someone's parent, though?
No, you're not. No, hold on. We're getting off. Listen,
Mateo said, "I'm a grown man. If I want to blow my money on coke, my parents shouldn't say anything about that." And then you said, as a friend, I would advise against that.
As a friend, I would advise against that.
And I'm saying, why is it okay as a friend to levy that criticism? We're talking over each other, dude. I'm saying, as a friend, why is it okay to give that criticism? But as a parent, it wouldn't be okay, according to your argument.
Parent or not, that's not what I'm saying. You're getting stuck on just advice, period. I'm saying your parents can still give you advice like, hey, I don't think that's a smart idea. And me and Mateo are both saying that that's fine. But to go further, the next step, what do you say? You're shaking your head no for?
No, you're not saying it's fine.
Yes, we have.
You just said,
yes.
I could blow my money on coke and you can't make a comment about it.
No, that's not what I said.
That's what I said.
You said. That's what he said. Don't say that we agree with something if he doesn't agree with you.
Because he just agreed with me earlier.
Then he don't agree with you now.
No, we're mostly aligned. I don't think there's anything wrong with someone making that comment, right? But when it comes to meddling, when it comes to like pestering, mention it once and done. I know your opinion now. Cool.
Exactly.
It's fucking noted.
Exactly.
But if every time it's like, oh yeah, your girlfriend's a real piece of shit, or so I used to be a smoker, right? I used to smoke cigarettes, and every time I went over, my mom was like, oh, you really need to quit smoking. It's like, this is the 50th time you've told me that.
And I'm still smoking it.
I fucking know that you don't like me smoking. I'm not here lighting up a cigarette in front of you. I don't know what else more you want from me. I'll quit when I'm going to quit.
Yeah,
she was right, though.
I mean, she wasn't wrong, but
yeah, we're not arguing that.
Right. I'm saying like, because I guess some of this relates to the question that I had. Like, for some reason my video froze, but you were asking how, like, what is the level of infraction?
I thought you were just standing real still, Pooch.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good.
For our audio listeners, Booch is frozen in place because he's moving so still.
I become invisible like Drax. But like, what is the level of infraction, right? Mm-hmm. And yes, if it's, oh yeah, you saw how Tony put his shoes over there. Oh, you saw it's very petty, right? I think the thing that you're criticizing needs to be important enough to strain the relationship, because criticizing people, unfortunately, causes strain. Like, people don't enjoy being criticized. They think that what they're doing is right. So when someone tells them, hey, what you're doing ain't right, there's an argument, there's friction, there's a back and forth that isn't pleasant for pretty much anybody involved. Whoever's levying this criticism, though, the thought should be, this is worth hurting our relationship because I care about this person. So your mom telling you every single time to stop smoking, she knows you hate it, and she knows that doing this is going to alienate you from her in some respect. You're going to stop coming around because you got to hear these comments. I think, what's the fucking thumb up? So I think just stay in the fucking podcast, Tony.
What are you talking about, man? Just stay focused here.
Nothing. I'm not talking about nothing. I think whatever criticism you're gonna give has to be worth giving. That's all. And by worth is, it has to be you have to be willing to ruin some part of your relationship with the person in order to give these criticisms. I don't know. I still don't think it's wrong, but
I think we're all pretty aligned. I think we might be a little bit more aligned than we think. That like whatever that error of that margin of error is on it being extreme enough is just the difference we're having.
Pucho's going to be that parent we're talking about. Just letting you know.
This is an example. This is going to be an example, though, of saying that's what I think. That's where I think the buffer is. But at the same time, it should be noted, I usually don't give a damn about anyone else's opinions on my life. So you could just hold it, just keep it tucked in, bury it deep down inside.
Oh, they're just going to tell you, Mateo. That's all it is. They're going to keep telling you. Just get used to it.
I learned many moons ago that my mother is not going to change. So I just have to deal with it.
So what do you do though? Like what? Like how do you cope with that? Like, do you ignore or do you feed into it sometimes because it gets too much? Because you and me both have the same mother. Sorry, but we both kind of have the same mom. Like they input a lot. So that's what I'm saying. Like, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, when you have to deal with vanguard attacks, pincer attacks, on various attacks on the character and things that you're doing in your life, I think it comes from a good place. I think I can take 1 or 2 a day. Any more than that, and I start to get into defense mode. I start trying to dodge the attacks, and then you have parries. You try to parry them and reverse them, and that doesn't work. It just I just have learned to just be a punching bag. Just take it and just be
I've got a solution for you. We're gonna build you a little box. And it's got to have a little slot at the top, and your mom can put complaints in there, and you only read 2 of them every day.
Yo, that shit will be filled within the first hour. Like, he would have to literally buy another box because I know because my mom's almost the same. Like, but she's toned down a lot. But before, she used to just give you endless amount of information or shit like, oh, be careful. And my mom's my mom, you know. All parents are the same. They're gonna always tell you to be careful when you go out and drink and all that. But it's like certain topics. It just be like, why are we even discussing it? It's like, there's no reason for you to discuss this. Like, I understand. Like, you gave me life. You brought me into this world. But it's just at 32 years old, you know, I don't need certain conversations to happen, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean? Like, and then when it comes to my kid, my mom's great. Like, she doesn't, she gives you little ideas, but for the most part, I honestly thought my mom would meddle a lot more into it. But my mom and my dad, they're both like, yo, that's your kid. But when he's with us, oh, we're gonna do what we want to do, like type thing. You know what I mean? Like we're like in a way, in a nice way. Pooch is going crazy right now, and I'm saying like in a way like, oh, we'll put clothes on them and stuff, but they listen to what we tell them. You know what I mean? But for the most part, they're doing a great job as grandparents, and I can't complain.
I don't know. I would need, first off, shaking my head calmly is not going wild over there.
No, you almost broke your neck. For the audio listeners, this man was shaking his head like a helicopter. Shit was fucking wild.
Wow. But I don't know. I guess I would need more context into like examples of how a conversation would go. Having seen both of you guys interact with your parents, I think you guys are poor at taking criticism. And I mean, it doesn't even need to be that. I tell you guys anything and it becomes a fight. So I think that's just the case. My mother gives me a healthy amount, and my dad too, a healthy amount of criticism. Every single time I talk to them, they have a remark about something. I don't know. They're my parents. They're going to tell me some shit. What do I say? I'll be like, all right, Mom, I'll keep that in mind, for sure. And I just kind of drop the conversation. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong.
All right, so you're the better man.
What is their percentage? No. What is the advice following percentage that you would guesstimate for these conversations?
Very low, for sure. For sure. And it ain't because my parents are wrong or anything. There's things I don't want to change. There's just ways of life that my parents disagree with. Like, you know, like I drink a lot. Like when I drink, I don't drink often, but when I do drink, I binge drink. My parents don't like that, so they make comments like, "Yo, you should really tone down the drinking and stuff like that." And I'd be like, "Yeah, Mom, you're not wrong." Like, and my then favorite. I just kind of let it rock out. But I think the conversations with your parents would go a lot better if you were more just accepting of their criticism is fine. Like, but it feels like when it happens, having been around it, it's like y'all have all the Floyd Mayweather defenses and you start putting them up, but then they feel like they need to keep trying to counter it to like actually land the hit, but you keep trying to block them all, and that's how y'all conversations go. And then it gets drawn out and people get upset and there's fighting and it's like, just say okay, and the conversation would have been done. Like, it just feels the ways in which those interactions play out is unhealthy all around. To be honest. Like, and I don't disagree. Y'all parents be going hard sometimes with like making sure y'all like sticking it, you know, you got to make sure it lands, you know what I'm saying? But I think it goes the other way too. Like a lot of that too is probably over the years matching energy and stuff like that. Like you guys fight so hard, so they got to fight hard and shit. I don't know.
Uh-oh, that boy's awake.
No, I agree. I think, like I said, having a healthy relationship with your parents, and healthy being the key word. Making sure it doesn't get into screaming and yelling matches, and it's, you know what I mean, that it's a nice, healthy conversation between you and them. And you don't take anything to heart. I think a lot of people are very sensitive, and a lot of people cannot take criticism. And
I will say, just to back up what you're saying, what you said earlier, even 2 criticisms a day is a bit much.
It's a lot.
Like, that's a lot. So if you're getting more than that, then there is some unhealthy aspect to this too.
Yeah.
Oh man, your blinds. You have your blinds this way. Oh, no, you didn't make your bed yet. Oh, and it's just like, oh my God. Yeah. Like, really? Like this amount? Like, so like then it goes to like what Mateo was saying. It's like, there's a threshold that I think the criticism needs to, some bar that needs to be passed before it could be issued. And like, I don't know. You know,
it's like that pain chart at the hospital. Don't come into the hospital unless you're a 6 or whatever the fuck it is. It's got the little angry faces on it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think because our parents breastfed us, and you know, not our dads but our moms, and you know, they raised us, and I think boundaries for parents are weird. I think that's a weird thing, a weird concept to get down with once your kid starts being like, hey, I need a little room here. Like, you know what I mean? You're like, hold up. Like, I've been taking care of you my whole entire life. Now you need some room. Where was my room when you wanted to be around me all the time?
I think the boomer generation has a hard time with boundaries in general.
Yes.
I think that they didn't realize that was a thing that you could just, set, and they like shit just happened. Like people, like they were the generation that shit just happened to. Like there wasn't setting boundaries. You couldn't say, "Oh, I don't like when you pinch my cheeks," because you hurt the hell out of them or something. Like shit just happened to you. Things happened.
Yeah,
and now we're realizing like, no, you set boundaries, and it's healthy to set boundaries.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Like you mentioned the one friend. I guess I have two comments. You mentioned the one friend the other day that was like they're trying to go almost overboard, not in a bad way, but they're doing a healthy amount of teaching their kid consent. So like if their son or daughter says like, you tickle them or they may you ask to let them tickle before you touch them and things like that. Like I think that's cool. I'm not quite there, but there's sometimes I tell my daughter, "Oh, give me a hug," and she goes like, "No," and then I'm like, "Okay." Like, I mean, you're right. I shouldn't just be able to demand a hug from you. Like, yeah, that's fair. And just try to drop it, Meanwhile, a lot of parents will be like, "I'm gonna hug you anyways," kind of thing, and it's like, yeah, I don't know. There's obviously.
Sorry, what are we talking about? Can you I had to put Luca back to bed. What happened?
Sure, we're talking about how our parents' generation has a hard time with boundaries.
Oh, okay.
And setting boundaries, and we think setting boundaries is healthy. Telling people I don't like this thing, it's okay
Please
to
do
do
not
that.
do
like,
that, yeah.
Yeah, but some people view it as a horrible thing to do, like you're being a jerk or something. I'm saying that one of Mateo's friends, they are practicing setting boundaries with their kids. So they'll ask their kid, "Can I tickle you?" and then tickle their kid as an example. If the kid says no, then they won't touch their kid, because it's their body, something along those lines.
That's strange to me, but I get it.
You're
just playing with, you're playing with your kids, right? Like you're just tickling them, like mid playing. Like, "Oh, can I tickle you?" It's like, like I tickle Luca. You know what I mean? Like when he's laughing, I know he got a tickle spot now, so I just hit him with the tickle spot, and then it's like I should ask him. Obviously not now, because he's not gonna respond because he can't speak yet. But I'm saying when he's older, I should ask him, "Can I tickle you mid laughter?" Like that's kind of. I mean, I get it, but it's just odd to me.
Would you just walk up to a woman and try to tickle them?
No, she's not my child.
Well, what does it mean to be your child? Because this is the second thing I wanted to get into, actually. But like, what is it about being your child that you get to just step in and do something?
At a certain age, yes, I wouldn't do that no more. But like 1-year-old, 2-year-old, 3-year-old, like I'm gonna grab. If you're falling real quick, I'm gonna grab you. You're gonna fall and be like,
falling.
"Can I grab you as you're falling?" No, I'm gonna grab you.
It's not to that level.
What's the border?
If I saw a random woman on the street falling, I would grab her instead of letting her fall too.
It depends.
I would. Yeah, maybe if she was smeared in shit, yeah, I wouldn't do it because I wouldn't want shit all over me. But if she looked clean, I would try to grab her because there's a safety concern.
If she's covered in shit, you just like, "Oh, watch out."
So let me ask you.
What the fuck? It depends. What do you mean it depends? Give me what is the case where you just like, nah, fuck that. Like, what are you talking about?
Because I mean, they can sue you, right? If like, let's say you catch them and some way they hurt, you can get sued by that. You can get sued by them.
So sorry. So what does it depend on?
What is their argument
if they
in
look
court?
like they could have, if it looks like they could afford a lawyer, you're just not gonna catch them? Is that what you're saying? Like,
I'm just not gonna touch them because then they can consider some shit like, "Oh, he touched me inappropriately," some shit, or he groped me as he was some weird shit. But to get back to you, because we're going off.
So you will never help somebody in public if they're just like falling. That's what you're saying.
I would.
What? You just said you wouldn't.
But depending, right? Depending on the situation. If
Oh,
it's a,
what?
if it's a young
What if
person,
I was falling
if it's a young
off of-
person, I'm gonna let you fall. That
You wouldn't
now,
grab
if
my
you're gonna-
cock if it was the only thing that you could grab and save me?
All right, how you? Where, hold on, no. I'll gladly go into this. How are you falling, and where are you falling from?
I'm falling off of a waterfall.
Oh,
And
come
the
on,
only
dude, you
thing
get-
that you can grab on is my erect penis.
Why
I
are
would-
you erect
to
while
save-
you're falling on
No,
this
that's
waterfall?
fine. No, that's fine. Joe,
And
I
my
would grab your erect
squishy
penis
balls.
and pull you. Yes,
All right,
I would
thank
save you.
you.
I don't want you to die. I
Thank
would
you. I
save you.
appreciate that.
If it was any other dick that I don't know, no, nigga, I'm not grabbing that dick to save that person. That's all I'm
Appreciate
saying. It's
that.
just that there's a levels, right?
I mean, knowing Doey, the odds are that other dicks are probably safer to grab than Doey's dick. You don't know where Doey's dick's been.
That's bees.
Doey's some kind of dick devil.
But to go back what you were saying, Pooch, right?
Let's say you're at a restaurant, right, and you saw that there was like water on the floor, and somebody was walking, and they were about to step into this like puddle of water. You telling me like because like you're paying attention in the situation, maybe you're gonna go hey, you know, and let's say they step on it and they start slipping back. You're telling me you're just gonna be like, oh shit, no, fuck the litigation, all right? Okay, my hands were up. I didn't touch her at all. Like,
It depends how they're falling, yeah.
what does that mean?
Like if they're falling,
Like,
to
what's
where
a way they could be falling where you wouldn't help them?
With their
Face
tits
forward.
all over.
So if they're falling face forward, you wouldn't try to catch them?
yeah, they'll catch themselves.
Yeah. I think I would just react to trying to help, but
That's good, Superman. My bad.
no. I might get sued. Superman might get fucked.
No, but
according
I
to
wanted
you.
to go back to what you saying
Kids.
about asking someone if you got to grab them, whatever. Do you ask your wife when you see her, like, hey, I'm going to slap your butt for affection. Can I slap your butt? No, you're just going to slap her butt, or you're going to grab her and kiss her. Like, you're going to ask permission for that?
I think the flip side would be if you slap your wife's butt and she turns and says, "Hey, I don't like that. Don't do that anymore."
I'll slap her
Then you-
again.
Right.
Damn.
She likes
Yeah,
that
that's
shit.
not
No,
good.
I'm joking. That's a joke. But no, yeah. I mean, like that's my thing. There's a cutoff. My issue with everything that we have here is what's the cutoff, right? What's the cutoff? Hey, baby, can I kiss you right now? The fuck? Yeah, I'm not gonna ask you to kiss you. I'm gonna kiss you because
I think when it comes to your spouse, your partner, though, it becomes the flip side. The example I gave, it's like your wife, like your partner straddles you and starts kissing on you. You're like, not feeling it right now. I'm good or something. There's more polite ways to word that than just like push them off me like gross or something. But you have to respect someone's wishes. Like if they're not in the mood for that currently, then fucking deal with it. It's
I agree.
not their obligation to straddle you and make out with you whenever you want or whatever.
I agree to a certain extent. Yeah, but
That means you agree.
no, to a certain extent.
What's the
Like,
certain
what is the extent? This is where you suck at
My
defining
wife-
things.
If my wife is sleeping and I crawl in the bed at 2 a.m. and I start kissing her, and she hits
That
me
shit's
with
annoying.
the no. No, that's not a real no, nigga. I know my wife's no. She'll kick my leg and be like, yo, no. I'm gonna hit her with the keep going and kissing her and loving her, and then boom, that's it. Like the stuff moves in rotation, but you just gotta know when a no is a no versus a no is a no. You know what I mean?
I think a no is a no.
I think it's a lot easier if you just take a no as a no.
Yeah,
maybe
you're bugging the
that's
y'all niggas is bugging.
Nah, you're fucking bugging. You're talking about the. It's not even.
It's that one skit from fucking Family Man. 7 no's and 1 yes means yes.
Family Man.
It's just that you with your
Family
wife,
Guy?
The family man.
with your wife, with others, obviously, you got to ask respectfully and shit. Like,
I don't think that's appropriate.
there's a difference. I know you guys like to do
think,
shit
I
by
think
the book.
there's a certain degree of what's. I don't disagree that there are things with the spouse or whatever that are assumed okay, like a kiss here, a hug, maybe a shoulder rub. If they verbally tell you no, then no, this is not okay. But I think there's certain things. But there's still a line there too. You're saying where's the line? There's already a line, Tony. Like you can't just like crawl in bed and just put your cock in your spouse. Like that's probably inappropriate. Like unless you guys have an agreement.
Yeah, unless you have a verbal agreement ahead of time.
No, that is kind of beast. Like if you have an agreement,
it's not kind of beast. That shit is probably rape in most cases.
Damn.
What?
Spousal rape's a thing.
Spousal rape is a thing. People rape their wives.
That's a real thing. That's beast. But
all I'm saying though is there's already a line because you did say, yeah, that's OD. So unless you guys have some pre-agreement, most regular people would have in their mind that that's inappropriate. Like you can't just jump to that level. So there's already a line in there. Like so when you're asking where's the line, there's already a line there. We're just moving the line back a little bit.
Not a line. What's the cutoff?
Asking what's the cutoff is where's the line, Tony?
I don't like line. I like cutoff.
Okay. Well, the cutoff's already there. It's at you know where it is. You know things that you can't do, the things that you can't. You're being an idiot.
For the audio listeners, I'm making a really smirky face. But no, yeah, there is a line. Cutoff. I meant. I just think with your spouse is different than random fucking people. That's all.
Yeah, we all agree. There's some things that are assumed okay until they tell you otherwise.
Your wife
you could rub your wife's shoulder and it's probably okay if she doesn't say no. You're not gonna rub a random person's shoulder
unless you're trying to catch them and check and see if their arm is hurting, right? Or when you when they slip, you're like, "Oh man, is your arm hurting? Is it broken?"
I think that's inappropriate.
You might do that.
Inappropriate.
That's why I wouldn't save a bitch or save a person. Sorry.
Wow.
It's not to a sex; it's to anybody, male or female or male.
The fact that you're thinking it.
Yeah, I wouldn't save that male bitch. That's completely what you meant. Oh, that male bitch is falling. I'm not gonna go.
It's actually funny that you say that, the male bitch, just to clarify what we're calling. But no, seriously though, like with kids though, I'm learning new things every day. Like if that's something that's educationally, like it helps them, then yeah. Because I know. Was it you, Pucho, that were saying that you tell your daughter, or no, I think it was somebody else. They're saying that when they wipe their kid's butt or whatever, like if someone were to ask, "Oh, does your father touches you?" the kid would say yes. They told their kid to answer, the question accordingly and explain it just for some weird purpose. I don't even know how the conversation got up, but if he asked like, "Oh, did you touch your daughter?" Like, yes. Oh, what do you mean you touch your daughter? I have to take her diaper off, wipe her, clean her vagina, and make sure, she's good, and I put it back on. So, yes, I do touch my daughter. And then they ask the daughter, well, does your father touch you in places? Yeah, he does. Where? Here. They're like, okay, that's weird. No, like she knows this, and she tells where and what. But, it's like there's a difference to trying to tell your daughter, hey, can I? It's like, no, woman, like, you're covered in shit. Like, I'm gonna wipe you down. Like I'm not gonna ask you if I can wipe you down or not. Like, I'm just gonna do it. You know what I mean? That just sounded weird to me. That's all. I mean,
that sounds like they're trying to make a point of something. It's really strange. Hey, does your dad ever touch your private parts? Yeah, he does. Oh yeah. Yep, he touches me sometimes with his finger. Yeah, because he puts cream on my vagina. Like, that's really what, that's the way they want the conversation to go? Yeah, that's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's why I was, like, and it might be something else.
It's like that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
Yeah, yes, it's just like that Curb Your Enthusiasm episode.
But it's just weird. That's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people do weird things with their kids, and they think the method that they're doing it is good for them, benefits them. But I think some of the methods that people do, just a little too much, or maybe I think too old schoolish in a way.
I think that'll harm more than it'll help. I think it'll get you in a lot of predicaments. Or maybe they won't ask the follow-up questions, and they'll just stay at her dad touches her private parts with his finger. Like, that's enough. And they're just like, well, fuck out of here. That's crazy.
Yeah, that scenario seems like they're creating a problem rather than solving anything.
And, excuse me, I did say it's fucking stupid. I should say it sounds fucking stupid, okay? I'm interested. Maybe they're totally in the right, and there's some research that says this is the way that you're supposed to say this shit. You know, it just doesn't sound that way. It sounds terrible.
Yeah. Parenting is difficult. But
Tony, do our ad, do our shout out, if you will. Get us out of here. We've been recording for 25 hours at this point.
Yeah, we're running a tour. It's live in effect, baby.
It's a long time.
This is the Tour de France of podcasts.
Will you say we're the Lance Armstrongs of podcasts?
Yeah. One testicle.
One big shared testicle.
One gigantic testicle shared by all three of us.
All three?
Four.
So for the audio listeners.
But do we take steroids, though?
Right into the testicle.
All right, shut the fuck up. Y'all motherfuckers is tripping right now. For the audio listeners, I had a face every time they cut me off from my outros and my fucking ad. Jesus. So that's the most aggravating shit. Shit gets on. That shit grinds in my gears, boys. Let y'all know that right now. But
I think you would say it makes you tick.
God. Damn it. That was a great episode, by the way.
I love you, Tony.
Yo,
Sorry.
if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, get that notification of these hot fires that's coming to you. Spirit fingers and all. We're on all platforms. Also, this is the new one. We're on all platforms in audio form as well. All of them. Spotify, Apple. I'm not going to go down the whole list, but we're on all of them. All right? So don't forget to follow it on Spotify, on Apple. Like it. If you still like the videos too, my face is always here to look at. You can always go back to YouTube, Facebook, IG, Twitter, all of that. TikTok. I think we're on everything. There's no reason why you guys shouldn't follow, subscribe, like, ring, and share. Please share it. Share it to everybody. Let them know how crazy we are, how too brown we are. You know, let us know if we got to lighten it up. I can get another 2 more kilowatts of lights in here. And
that's a real criticism we got today, y'all.
Yeah, that's
we're
crazy.
Too brown.
We're too brown for people.
We're too ghetto.
So if we got to turn the ghetto down a little bit, let us know. Let us know. We're here to please everybody. Side note, I made a face. Fuck no. I'm here as a brown person. If you don't like it, don't watch the pod. I don't know what to tell you. But thank you for your support and your love. We answered for the audio only, for the fans out there. Got it to you. Sorry it took us 41 episodes to do it. This is episode 42, but dropped last episode. But it's here for y'all, man. We really appreciate y'all and y'all love and support. Also, I think that's pretty much for the end of this episode as well.
Tony, you didn't even mention that we're going to start skywriting our transcript. So over 3 major U.S. cities. That's our next big announcement.
Yeah. The whole podcast will be on a sheet of paper flying, soaring through the sky.
I don't even know why my brain actually acknowledged that shit. I almost took that serious. Like legit. Anyways, thank you again. And as always, people, go one up yourself. And to that guy out there, go down yourself. Brown and proud, baby.
Damn, brown and proud. That's the first one down ever issued, I think. So, fuck that guy.
Fuck him. We ain't going nowhere.